Hey guys, it's Bronze, and welcome back to a video that I didn't really expect to make. Man, it has been a really long time since I've had to respond to a video made on me or a video made by me. And to be honest, I was expecting this video specifically for a really long time now. Because for those who are not filled in on the situation, someone finally responded to my video on the Slideshow commentary community. I know that video was released around the beginning of my popularity boost, so I'm not sure if a lot of you have seen it, but just watch it. It's a good video in my opinion. I can see some flaws in it, but overall it's a pretty solid video. And that's the kind of video that I would expect them to respond to like right away, because I'm giving out some arguments on the community and usually they're pretty quick on responding to those types of videos. But surprisingly only like 2 people said they were going to, and none of them did. But finally, after 4 months, this NaiTaiDai guy made a response to my Slideshow commentary video, and you know what? I got nothing better to do. Let's respond to this video. So without further ado, let us begin. Really? A copyright disclaimer? Like, I know that's not all of what that disclaimer was. It was like a don't harass this person thing, but like, seriously? I'm not gonna like take down your video or anything, it's fine.
Why am I talking about videos that criticize the CC? Meet today's subject, Bronze Show. A guy who, in his own words, is from the real commentary community.
I know I like the way you said that. He's part of, in his own words, the real commentary community. I mean, yeah. I've been a part of the majority commentary community, people like Pyrocynical, like I'm Alex, that group, for long enough to see that as like the actual commentary community. The Slideshow commentary community is like a subgenre to the actual commentary community, even though they don't really interact too often. Me somewhat having a relationship with Megadupe has nothing to do with this.
Okay. I won't judge this video simply because you know Megadupe. I will, however, question why he was important to bring up at all.
Megadupe is a very touchy subject in the commentary community, and I know at least one person is probably going to say that, oh, Megadupe probably influenced you like a little bit, you know? Or like something close to that. Not exactly that, but I know that since I know Megadupe, and Megadupe doesn't like the community, and the community has a mutual feeling, something would have come up where someone would have said something similar to, oh, Megadupe made you do this. But that is just me, like, anticipating stuff that I don't know. So I wouldn't know, but I just wanted to make sure.
Oh freaking god, no!
It's
okay, I know you've used this character in previous videos, but why in the name of every online community that is yet to be touched by creepy pedos is it this freaking bright?
Yes, I know. The stills look bad. I've been editing my videos lately so that I have to use those stills as little as possible because they look really bad. But even still, that seems like a really bad over-exaggeration. They aren't like eye-bleedingly horrible or anything. They're just kind of poorly drawn. Mainly because I just traced pictures that I took of myself in those poses. But like, I don't know, I thought they were good at the time. That's all I'll say. Since every member of the Slideshow CC is an exact carbon copy of each other, it's very easy to fit in with the majority.
No. Just because there are a lot of people within this community, doesn't mean they're all the exact same.
Hyperbole. Noun. An exaggerated statement or claim that is not meant to be taken seriously or at face value. That's a big problem with this video. That's a recurring thing. He seems to not get my hyperbolic statements of like all of them something something, when I don't actually mean every single one in the entire community. There can be exceptions. I'm just saying all of them because I don't want to say a large majority every sentence.
For example, Doodle Tones. You should know who she is. She takes up the bulk of your video.
What was that supposed to mean? Yeah, I know I mentioned dual tones a couple times in the video, but saying that that's like a bulk of the video, that's just a blatant over-exaggeration. That's in no way correct. I do have to admit they're very funny and very good at keeping themselves reasonable within their videos. See, that's how you do real sarcasm. Yeah, no. They're always trying to make it seem like they're above what they're talking about, but it just ends up seeming overly snarky and annoying.
I mean, I can confirm that a few commentators tend to talk down to their targets. However, I take issue here with the footage you're using when claiming commentators act in a condescending manner. Nowhere in that video, or at least the part you were talking over, does Blazing Hope act smug or condescending towards her target. Please don't make an untrue claim that can be easily debunked again.
The footage you're talking about, and all preceding footage of slideshow commentary videos, are not meant to be taken as examples of the things I'm talking about over them, unless specifically stated as such. One way they try to be funny is the titles of their videos, which 99% out of 10, they fall flat.
I'm sorry, but are you seriously counting the way these people title their videos as points against them? Unless they're saying something straight up derogatory or clickbaity or the like. Who cares if their titles are snark for the sake of snark?
Ooh, I do, definitely. And plus, that segment wasn't really about making a point about the titles, it was more just making a joke at the expense of the titles. And the point I was really trying to make there was not that titles themselves, it was because a large majority of the creators use titles like this. And the whole video was about the unoriginality of this community.
Also, where did you get that title calling Megadoob a dumbass? I can identify the videos from Scarlet Otaku and Blazing Hope from your screenshots, and you show a full screenshot of one of Kainu's videos. However, you keep the one calling Megadoob a dumbass ambiguous.
That image was taken from a video from Sailor Dust. I took out a large majority of the image because the screenshot was used in a tweet just making fun of the title on its own. And I already had the screenshot, so I didn't really want to make another better screenshot for the video. Hey guys, Omega Edgelord here, and today we're going to be taking a look at this awful commentary video created by a certain someone by the name of Obvious Troll 69.
For a minute, I thought you were referring to the video made by Akaroth. But then I remembered that your video came out 4 months ago, whereas Aki put out his parody video on the 1st of last month. With that in mind, I could assume that you're referring to an old video from Darkside. Now, if you aren't referring to either video, I gotta wonder, what video are you referring to? I've yet to see the type of video you're describing in 2 years, if at all.
That specific skit was not in reference to any video, and none of the points in this video really are. And while I can admit that this video isn't very good at giving specific examples, most of the commentators that I show, like Doodletones, Keyblade Master, Dwebbly, etc., do have those inflections. You gotta admit that. They use this annoyed explainy voice to make it seem like they're just so done with whatever they're talking about, and they think they're so above criticizing these things, but they have to stoop low enough to do it just this once. Except it's for every video, on every channel in this community.
Bronze, you're not showing any footage of commentators acting in a petulant, condescending manner there. You're just telling me they're petulant and condescending. Again, I know some commentators do behave that way, but they generally aren't looked fondly upon for that reason. The people you're showing here haven't behaved in the manner those two have. Not to my knowledge, at least.
I never really said or implied in the video that I was saying that their intent was to purposefully do like the "ooh, I'm obviously better than you, and whoever I'm talking about is inferior to me" kind of thing. If I was criticizing the inflections for anything, it would be that those inflections in particular give off the impression that these commentators had that intent, intentionally or no. Those inflections are kind of a bad thing to have, since it gives off that impression of like, oh, I'm so snarky and so above you, when they're really not, and those people might not even think that, but their inflections say otherwise. What you're gonna need first is a stock image GIF background, and if you don't have the patience to find one, just whip a background for whatever dating sim you last played. And if you're even lazier, you can just not use a background at all.
I'm gonna have to guess that you're talking about Let's Just Comment 16, where Ryan Rhino Mills, or Mills Kohai, commentated on Mr. Flippy Invader's commentary on Lexi Green. Again, I have to keep guessing what you're talking about, since you're being so vague.
Again, I was never really referencing any specific video or commentator in any of these points. I was more just generalizing the types of backgrounds that I see in these types of commentators, since I'm making a video on the lack of originality of this community. That's also a very big problem with this response. He keeps trying to think like, oh, you're obviously talking about this person, when I said in the beginning of the video that I wasn't going to talk about specific actions or people. I might use them as examples, yes, but I'm not going to attack one specific person in a point. Don't worry, there's a very good solution to this. All of them. You could even change what character you're using in the same video. Consistent branding is overrated. I need to show off my weeaboo pride.
Okay, now I know you're bullshitting. The video where Doodletones used the most amount of avatars in one video was last month for her worst commentaries of 2018. Again, a video that came out months after your video. So I'm left to conclude you just took screenshots from multiple videos and want to pretend that these avatars all came from the same video.
I'm not gonna make fun of this point. You just didn't do enough research. It's fine. But this is like basic stuff. I got all of those screenshots of doodle tones from her worst of 2017 list. It's not her 2018 list because, as you stated, that list was made after I made my video. So it obviously wouldn't have been that. And the only series of videos that she has, to my knowledge, where she uses that many character stills is in her worst lists. So it seemed like a really obvious thing. I don't know. Also, even if I lied about that, why would I lie about something that's so redundant? Like, seriously, I even referenced the video that I'm not going to hark on doodle tones too much or like just attack her. So why would I attack doodle tones in the same video where I say I'm not going to?
You do know that more and more people in the commentary community have begun to use OC avatars more frequently, right?
Yes, I have realized that, and I can agree that those are exceptions to what I was talking about in that point. But you gotta admit that those original characters kind of fall into the three categories that I stated, albeit without the anime, but still. Yeah, that Doodle Tones video you linked didn't really rebuttal the claim that I was saying. It more just says that she's tired of hearing this complaint and then gives a tutorial on how to remove backgrounds from images. Like, nowhere in the video does she even try to refute how ripping images from Google and using them as your character stills, with or without backgrounds, looks lazy. No, it's not. You can make your videos in Movie Maker and you'd still fit in with some of the big boys in this community.
It's fun to live in the past, isn't it? Regardless of what you want to believe, a lot of Slideshow commentators rely heavily on editing, keyframing their characters and the objects they may want to use for physical humor, as well as syncing up the visuals with the audio. And a lot of them use Sony Vegas or VideoPad, like myself. I honestly can't think of a commentator who is still using Movie Maker unironically.
But 'twas a joke, my good sir. I never claimed it as being a point, or did I show any semblance of sincerity while I said it. It was just a joke, making fun of the low-effort looking videos you people in the community make. Also, this isn't really rebuttaling anything, but yeah, I gotta agree, VideoPad's good. VideoPad, it works for what it does. It's not like studio quality or anything, but it works for what it does. Basic minimal editing. Just switching from still to still, cutting to the video they're talking about, and occasionally cutting to another video for cheap reference humor. I'm not saying I can't respect your opinion unless you have good editing, but it does help.
Again, a lot more time and effort goes into making these videos than you seem to think. Just because they're sliding stills across the screen, it doesn't mean they're putting less effort into their videos than anyone else. There's cutting up the video so they can interject the points they want to cover, syncing up the audio with the visuals, including the original video, and if they're using background music, to make sure that it isn't overpowering what is being said and to cut it off at the right time.
You know, like, cutting and syncing stuff to audio isn't really too labor intensive, and plus that point wasn't really about lack of effort or anything, it was just criticizing you guys for making content that looks lazy. If you've been working on a video for 5 years, or you've been working on it for like an hour, if it looks like it was made in an hour either way, it's gonna look lazy. And I know some of you will say, but that's just my editing style. And I could say that's a valid point, but it becomes less valid when literally every single person in your community has the exact same editing style.
Ponder Sprocket, Pink Robot. That is all.
Those are exceptions. Again, hyperbole. I've only seen like 3 or 4 commentators in this community try to differentiate themselves from everyone else, but other than that, a majority is just the same template with a different personality. And that's coming from someone in the actual commentary community.
Except Blazing isn't really a Slideshow commentator. Therefore, he isn't part of the community you're criticizing.
I only want to debate this, not because I'm like obviously in the right and I'm just gonna be wasting my time debating this. No, it's just because it's really up to Blaze himself to decide if he's part of the community or not. I personally see himself in the community because he discusses topics in response to videos in the community, and he, like, actively associates himself with members of the community. But I don't know, that's up to him to decide. Your opinion is as good as mine on this topic, so I don't know.
It honestly feels like you're feeling the same crap Soccer Turtles did in 2017 and Sonic Meerkat in 2018. Thinking you can accurately criticize the Slideshow CC while just knowing the bare essentials of this community.
Yeah, no, don't just assume that I don't know what I'm talking about. I can admit that this video has faults, but that's just kinda petty. If you didn't intend to make it out like that, then I'm sorry, but I mean still.
You also come off as intellectually dishonest, claiming commentators act condescendingly towards their targets, yet never show any examples of them doing this.
Yeah, as I've said, this video isn't too good at giving specific examples of the claims that I'm talking about. I've been trying to get better at that, but it's definitely a problem that I have to overcome.
But then you only seem to have 3 examples to work with.
Whoopsie daisies, I guess I don't have enough examples. Let me go download every video from every Slideshow commentator that's ever existed. Alright, bye! Overall, I'd say this response had potential, but it's more or less just him taking my jokes and hyperbolic statements too seriously. But I am glad that someone finally responded after 4 months, so I'll give you that, and plus your content seems alright. I will address though that a big problem with a lot of the responses in the comments to this video is that they seem to misconstrue what I'm trying to criticize the community for. They're probably used to seeing criticisms of specific examples too much because they think that's all my video is. Like, bring up this specific example and like, oh, you're criticizing that example. No, I'm criticizing the fact that every person in this community does that specific example. I'm criticizing the fact that your community is unoriginal and using these examples in specific parts of your community as examples to that point. I don't know, I probably should have made that more clear in the video, but who knows, too late now. Anyways, that's my response to this video. Hopefully it's good enough. I'll see you all in the next video, and goodbye.